Hey Internet, hey, it's Marcus Tuttle, Simplified Home Sales. I want to welcome you to my presentation of the anatomy of a real estate transaction. There are several players to a real estate transaction, and you might get to them in various ways. I'm talking about Zillow or an internet data company or a real estate agent might be your point of contact, and to show you the workflow of what may be behind the scenes of a real estate transaction if you don't do it every day. And I've done this to just connect the disconnects and show you what you might be needing to know if you are going to enter into a real estate transaction, know who the players are and when they are contacted and the data storehouses to get you to a successful transaction. So welcome aboard. And at the end, I'll show you an app that's in beta testing right now. It should come out in December 2020. And I'll be really excited because it separates the data flow. I'm talking about the communication. It keeps it in one spot. No more emails and conversations and text in different spots, and you'll just be able to go right back to it, as well as a document storehouse. You'll have access to all of your documents, and you'll be able to put documents into a storehouse that not everybody has access to, maybe a contractor or people that can come into the app and get the documents that they need. And that's valuable because of the fracturing of the communication, both documents and communication. This is the disconnect that I've sought to lace up within the transaction and give your transaction some backbone. So enjoy the video. I hope it is of value to you. Thanks so much. All right, we're going to jump right into it right here. You are the buyer in this, and this scenario is whether or not you have an agent. And more specifically, this is going to have to do with you do have an agent. So let's get just a brief overview. I talked about several different players within a real estate transaction. You got the buyer, the buyer's agent. Each lane is a player within your transaction. You got the seller, you got the seller's agent. You've got a title representative that hasn't been fleshed out yet. You have a mortgage representative or a finance rep. You have inspectors. You have appraisers, and you have insurance people. You're going to need to get some insurance on your house, most probably, and especially if you have conventional type financing. So we're starting this process by deciding or recognizing the fact that you need to buy a house. And you are faced with several things. Many people start out by looking for inventory. I'm talking about Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, some of the big data companies, and just perusing pretty houses. And this is how they sell their advertising and get you involved with their agents, the agents that pay to be listed at the top of the agent list. You can certainly go there, and they've done a good job of that. You can educate yourself, and this might link back to looking at inventory, seeing what is available in an area. You can certainly contact a realtor through somebody you know, or you can find somebody at an open house, and or you might know somebody, or they may market to you, a myriad of different ways, but you can contact a realtor. And many times, I know this has become scrutinized recently, but many times the buyer agent fee is paid by the seller. That may change in the future, but right now it is largely the same way. And you can also further educate yourself by contacting a mortgage representative. And you do that, you can find people on the internet all day long that want to make you a loan because there's money involved. Buying a house is a major economic driver of the United States economy, and there are many players, and you buying a house sets off a trigger for many different things, meaning furniture purchases, Lowe's visits, many things, as well as employing these people. So you have to decide if you're going to work for a realtor. If you're not going to work for a realtor, we're going to talk about that a different day. If you are going to use a realtor, this sets off a trigger of actions that you will be involved in. But it also, when you contact a realtor, this communication line, the dotted line, crosses the boundaries and represents communication to a different party. And they're going to receive a request for service. This might be informal, or it could be a formal meeting. You're going to consult with your realtor, And at the end of the consultation, of course, this take place multiple times or one formal time, as I said, and they're going to make recommendations. And these recommendations are probably going to be to get financed, to see what you're able to afford. And you're going to act on that by coming down here and contacting the mortgage person, which this goes down here. But the recommendation that you might act on, if you haven't already, is to contact a mortgage person. And further, the realtor is going to ask you to sign some compliance documents, and that's going to be to cement your relationship, either the knowledge of who's representing who in a transaction or a formal exclusive buyer agency agreement. If you do sign a buyer's agency agreement, I would encourage you to have an understanding of when you might be able to exit that. If you're dissatisfied or decide not to buy a house, you really want to look at those options whenever working with a realtor. A realtor is going to invest their time and professionalism into helping you buy a house, and they would probably want to agree that you would use them if they're going to pour themselves into helping you buy a house. They're going to ask you to sign something, and this is going to go into the storehouse of information. We have to keep up with the documents that you will need access to as well. And that's what I propose with SHS Coordinator. But continuing down the sequence of events, you are going to collaborate. You're going to be looking for houses together, back and forth. The communication line begins. Then you'll find a desirable house that you see physically, or your agent shows you virtually. Maybe he does a FaceTime call with you. Many different ways the desirable house can be located if you're not in the area. Sight unseen sales happen more and more every day. That means the buyer is seeing the house online or through a FaceTime video and gathers all the information about the house and decides to move on it. So this is not uncommon. And having a point person would definitely be preferred on that, to have somebody to be your legs on the ground if you're outside of the area. If you find a desirable house, you're going to prepare a purchase agreement, or your agent will in this case. They're going to send it to you to sign. And when it's signed, a further variant is, are you working with is this seller a for sale by owner, or is it agent represented? And they are, in this case, we're going to deal with the agent represented properties, and they're going to send it to the agent, and you guys are all going to negotiate, all parties. So the seller's agent is going to communicate with the seller. You're going to negotiate what you want during this period, or the other option is to just accept it right away. And after the negotiation period, you're going to have an accepted contract or not. Yes, we're going to move to accepted contract, where we all have an accepted contract. If no, this is a loop. Sometimes you're not going to get the house that you try for. That's competitive bidding, or it doesn't pass inspections, or something changes and you do not get the house that you desired. So this comes back to collaborating again, and this is a loop. So we continue on to the accepted contract, and once there's an accepted contract, this is an important part and an important part of the process. We're going to store this back in our storehouse, this accepted contract that you'll have access to. It's not going to be emailed through my proposal. It's going to be kept in SHS Coordinator, which is a real value. And then the agent is going to order the inspections, or recommend some for you to order yourself, notify a title company, or supply a list for you to order from, and to notify the mortgage company. This is the important part where everybody gets going. And they're going to request a deposit. And after you have an accepted contract, your responsibility is to give the deposit. And there are rules outlining what the deposit, what conditions you get the deposit back if you don't ultimately go to a sale. And after that, you can attend. You're going to need to also start to shop for insurances, and your insurance person, if they need information on the house, they can log in and have access to the documents. Not all of the negotiation documents, but the information documents that is just an efficiency move for your agent not to have to take time and email it and cause another communication line. It's all kept in SHS Coordinator is my proposal. And you're going to attend the inspections. Not mandatory for you to do it if you're out of the area, but your agent customarily will attend the inspections to flesh out any needs or conditions by the inspector. And this brings in a second negotiation period where you might need to negotiate repairs or concessions. It's not uncommon for that to happen. And these negotiations, all this paperwork is going to need to be put in the storehouse as well. And then your agent will coordinate the fact that everybody's on the same page. The mortgage company and title company have done their work in order to give title to you for the house, and then we're done. Then it's not actually done after that because you have to turn on utilities that I haven't done here. But that, in essence, is a real estate transaction if you're using an agent. And real quick, I will talk to you about what I have, my proposal for SHS Coordinator. So that brings me to SHS Coordinator. This is the rough draft. It has functionality now, but I'm still in beta testing. And here's how we're going to do it. All the conversations are going to take place. I'm a party to this conversation, so I'll be able to see it. I am impersonating Jerry Tate for beta testing, but this is how it will do it. This is a conversation. I can only see this information if I'm a party to this conversation. These are the conversations that I'm a party to. If I'm not a party to them, then I don't see it. So reasonable expectation of privacy, and a good expectation of privacy. As far as the documents, here's how it's going to go. So accessible by all, meaning your insurance people, all access levels have access to these documents. And for this is only accessible by the team members and project manager. So I've tried to boil it down to the basic things, as not to get too intricate with my design. But if you look here, you can see that these are the tasks. They have search capabilities and a status, a due date, a progress bar, and the assignees to it. Not everybody's gonna see all the tasks, and within that task, you have a description for the description, the ability to have conversation, and outside of this, you have the documents is an important part of the project level. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. We'll have subsequent videos with more variants of the anatomy of a real estate transaction. Maybe if you're dealing with a for sale by owner, you don't want to deal with an agent, something like that. But this separates a good amount, the majority of the tasks that are involved. And just want to thank you for taking a look at my video. And if it's of value, please subscribe, but make sure I give value for it. So thanks a lot. Have a good day. Marcus Tuttle, Simplified Home Sales.